How to be happy in life, ladies and gentlemen. How to be happy in life. I think there's probably one bit of advice I'd give for anyone who wants to be happier in life is want for less, basically. Don't expect too much from life and it won't disappoint you. Yeah, wanting for less is a big part of being happy, I think. I think the more we go around wanting, secretly the sort of random crap we wanted as young teenagers, right? Like mansions all around the world and supercars and this sort of crap that we wanted to go out and get lots of money in life to furnish ourselves with. I think, yeah, so long as we reduce our desires, our happiness increases in direct proportion to that. And I think I'm somewhat qualified to be able to talk about happiness since I've read Bertrand Russell's The Conquest of Happiness, and that is still the best self-help book I've ever come across. And I still think there's a huge amount to be said for finding fulfilling work in life. And he talks about the happiest man he ever met in his life, which was the groundskeeper for the huge country estate on which he grew up. And this groundskeeper guy was always incredibly happy, incredibly jolly, but he was incredibly peeved by the fact that rabbits were always eating the lawn and eating the flowers and so on. So he had like one enemy in life, and his enemy was the rabbits on the estate, who he would try and kill at his optimum. So yeah, I guess that's one way of being happy in life is finding out your vocation and finding out what you're good at, where your skill sets really lie, and trying to integrate that into your life and try. I don't think I'm actually quite there with that yet, though. I mean, I've found all sorts of jobs in life I find fulfilling, or all sorts of things in life I find fulfilling, but it's supporting oneself financially with these things, isn't it? And being able to hold down a job. I mean, I held down a dairy farming job for 5 months, but I don't know if I can do that for the rest of my life. I really enjoy the work and I find it incredibly fulfilling, but I don't know if it's necessarily for me to do forever, if you see what I mean. I don't know what else. Yeah, well, I have a huge amount that I find fulfilling. Don't know what else. I mean, yeah, like painting, writing poetry, writing in general, doing stand-up comedy I find enormously fulfilling. And I think so long as we have this kind of Viktor Frankl logos in our life, as long as we're pursuing meaning in our life or have meaning to our lives, we're likely to be happier. We're likely to feel less of this existential vacuum that Viktor Frankl talks about in another great self-help book, Man's Search for Meaning by Viktor Frankl, which I could highly recommend. For anyone out there who's struggling or anyone out there who feels unhappy, struggling with mental health, that's a huge one, I think, to have in place. Meaning in one's life, to have something that you're trying to fulfill, that you're pursuing earnestly, and an earnest and conscientious sense of objective and purpose in life. I think that's very, very important, and I think that's something that a lot of people, unfortunately, are missing in life, in the pursuit of money, in the pursuit of arbitrary relationships, or in the pursuit of sex, which follows on very often from the desire for money, I think. I think one just wants to, fill one's life with sex and money very often and live a kind of rock and roll Wolf of Wall Street style life. I think a lot of people have that in their kind of psyches, where they want that, and like for most people, that is very unlikely to happen. And it's also very unlikely to lead anywhere positive and productive and good. So, vocation in life and minimizing one's desires, or changing the style of one's desires to things that are healthier, I think is very productive in the conquest of happiness in life and trying to become a happy person. Because I think I've managed it. I think I've managed it to quite a great extent. I've managed to secure myself quite a decent stretch of happiness in my time, if you see what I mean. Like, I'm not usually an unhappy person, I don't think. I'm a very stressed out person, quite a lot of the time, and that's led to mental health difficulties. But, not always unhappy, or very often happy, in fact, is what I am, I think, in my life. And for those fleeting, well, not fleeting, hopefully, moments of happiness, but for those sustainable moments of happiness, That's sort of what we're living for, isn't it? We're living for the joys of existence and the joys of being alive. And yeah, I get that from all sorts of other places, not just work. I get it from listening to great music, reading good books, um, watching stand-up videos that I find great or really funny. You know, laughing. Laughter is a hugely important thing in life, I think. Yeah, and just trying to be the best person you're capable of being, or something like that. I think there's, you know, a lot of positivity, a lot of good things to be drawn from that exercise. A lot of beneficial things come to you. Heal and grow, ladies and gentlemen. It's like, yeah, I'm like Deepak Chopra. Heal and grow. Yeah, that is Deepak Chopra, is it not? Oh my god. But yeah, I mean, people read self-help, but fuck it, they read the wrong self-help. Yeah, I don't know what else to suggest so far as happiness is concerned. I think I've about covered it, or I've covered, you know, what amounts to not really my philosophies to life even, but the philosophies of life of Viktor Frankl and Bertrand Russell so far as happiness is concerned. And so far as, you know, staving off mental illness is concerned. Viktor Frankl asked a very important question to all of his psychiatric patients whenever they came to him with problems. He said, "Why don't you kill yourself then?" And I imagine he got like quite a few raised eyebrows for asking that. But yeah, it's like, why don't you kill yourself? Like, what are you living for exactly? And then the real stuff comes out, and the real reasons for staying alive sort of emerge from that. And I think it's a good way of girding ourselves against self-pity. And you know, we stop feeling so miserable about ourselves and our existence when we realise that, in my case at least, I live for things like, yes, writing poetry, doing stand-up comedy, and all these sorts of things, and doing YouTube even now. I mean, this is giving me like a little buzz. It's making me happy. Just talking to camera to a bunch of people I've never met in real life, and hoping you're well out there and happy and being lovely people. I'm sure you are. Sure you are being great. But yeah, that's roughly the size of it, I think, in terms of happiness. Not wanting for too much, having work that you enjoy, work that you find fulfilling, and yeah, not sweating the small stuff. And mostly, yeah, not feeling too sorry for yourselves either, not beating yourself up too much that you're such a failure. And I think that is, you know, again connected to desire and what we expect out of life, you know, our expectations for ourselves, and trying to minimize those desires and trying to get them into healthier places and healthier shapes. So yes, I think that's roughly how we conquer happiness. Thank you for watching my Bible, Loves.